All right, welcome to another episode from the Chart Reader. So this is an interesting viewer request video set here, okay? Because these are obviously some popular stocks, but I really wasn't planning on covering these until I got enough of them to say let's do this, all right? So AMC's got something interesting going on right here, all right? I am for sure not pretending I don't see this. You hear me say it often, right? Red, 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 green, 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 right? So there's a interesting potential for, what could be a break the 8, go to the 20 situation here, all right? We obviously have some old lines, so we'll talk about those in a little bit. But yeah, this was an interesting one and I think was worth hitting record. Why not? EBET. I actually have no idea what EBET looks like. I forgot about EBET. I was gone for a week. EBET wasn't the freshest thing on my mind, for lack of words. So I'll do that live here actually. I for real have no idea what that chart looks like. And then verb. Okay. We will talk about verb, all right? It's there's nothing else I need to say except for that, all right? We'll get to that one at the end. But before we go any further and I give you more of my thoughts and opinions, what are we going to do today? Same thing we do always, right? We're going to take a look at the daily and the weekly to see how these things are setting up short term. We have our 5 moving averages. There are some horizontal support and resistance lines that I do draw manually myself. And then when we are done up here, we'll use the MACD, RSI, and volume as our lower indicators. Hey, really quickly, if you can please subscribe to the channel, share this video online with your friends, comment good or bad. Look, anything you can do helps me out so much with these YouTube algorithms. I've been on vacation for a week and they're really mad at me, I'll tell you that much. But anything you can do, I'm telling you, it always helps me so much. So, and then sorry, really quickly, I will put a link to the very free Discord group. You can see everything that we got going on. There are some amazing people talking while I'm making these videos. It's a beautiful little place there, all right? So, look, AMC. First off, I actually want to just zoom out because I haven't covered this in a little bit, all right? So, a few things come to mind. I don't even need to zoom out that far, all right? But generally, the rule is get over all 5 and fly, get below all 5 and die. And man, it's been a really long time since it's been under them. It tries to get over them, but no, it slips and falls, right? So it's been a lot of pain. You know, I always say bad things happen under the 8 and the 20. Definitely is now well below the 8, and bad things that happened. There was a reverse split right there. I mean, a lot of bad things, right? That said, listen, one thing that I love saying, it's actually one of my wife's favorite catchphrases when she overhears me recording these, but red, 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 green, 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 green. Like there are very little resistances between this nice little week and a bit gap time, right? So these lines are obviously a little bit older. As I zoom out, it looks like one is from right there. And honestly, I don't know if the other one is maybe just another older one from a past reverse split. Maybe it was from something from the weekly. I'll be honest, I actually am not 100%. AMC is not one that I've looked at. However, I think it's an interesting one because, again, we see this beautiful opportunity to fill. I mean, it's not a real gap, but there's a decent gap right there. Again, for me, red, 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 red is a beautiful thing, right? We are actually over the 8, right? And generally speaking, I don't want to say generally because that's not always how, but break the 8, go to the 20, right? If you can break this, hopefully we're going to make our way up to here. So really, I think, and I'm going to set the alert, I think my alert's going to be 1381, all right? If we can get over that, I think there's a lot of reason to believe we'll at least come to this line, right? Because if I'm not mistaken, that one was a real one. It's an old one, but yeah, it was the bottom of this little peak right here, right? So I think that's actually a pretty real line. But Jesus, going from 13 to 20, that's a huge run, right? So a lot to like on that, actually. Where are you after hours? You doing anything? I'll take it. You're not doing, again, to me, after hours is an easy way to get your hand stuck in the cookie jar, all right? The rules are different, the volumes are different. I'm telling you, it's just, it is its own little beast, right? But there's really a good reason to believe. And for me, I'm telling you, I don't really know where this line came from. Maybe this 1 to 10 reverse split kind of messed it up, but I'm going to give respect to it because it's here, right? I at some point drew it for a reason, and yeah, I still believe that. So Yeah, this one's interesting. Again, MACD's not fantastic. However, it went from really, really bad to starting to go horizontal to maybe they're actually going to kind of meet and go over, right? RSI has actually been pretty irrelevant for a while. It's been extremely horrible, but that's such a low number. That's low enough to make me believe we'll go to this, maybe even to that, right? Like that this thing could go to 80 before I start getting worried, right? And look, volume is still, yes, doing that, but I'll take this being a little closer to flat. Hopefully we can start kind of going up, especially if we start kind of creeping this. But yeah, I think the immediate highest target you should look at is 30. Don't think about the whole thing just yet. Don't think about this right here. I can draw these lines, but I'm not going to, all right? The first place we're going to try to get to is here. After that, hopefully we can get here and on, all right? So, yeah, there's again, like I said, I saw this come in. I wasn't expecting to hit record, but there's a decent thing to like here. Look, so where are we at on the weekly? The weekly's not looking fantastic, but hey, this 20 is also a pretty good 50% candle line. I think maybe it's a little short. Maybe we'd say like that's roughly 50%. But again, at that point, you're just like pushing hairs and like, I'm good with the lines, right? So, excuse me. Yeah, again, I'm liking this. I overall, and look, the one thing I do want to call out, so this is the weekly chart. Ooh, excuse me. We are already, look at this, right? The weekly 50 average is 19, right? 19.0. We're already at 20 million. So we have already beat the weekly volume. That's actually awesome because this is a short week, obviously, right? I keep forgetting that it's Tuesday, not Monday, but we have less trading days, which actually makes it harder to break the weekly averages. Dude, we did it on the first day. That's actually a little more reassuring. I'm glad I took that second to stop here and look at that. But yeah, again, RSI is still really low. It looks like it might be want to do, we like green over red, right? So that's kind of what we're hoping for. And yeah, MACD doesn't look great here, but again, again, don't have this dream up here just yet. Still a little much. Let's take it slow and steady. But yeah, there's actually a lot to like with AMC. I was not expecting that, but I'm telling you, I love my viewer requests, man. I actually really do. EBET. Let's take a look at EBET. This sucks. Okay. What am I seeing? Why did I say this sucks? What am I seeing? It's a struggle with the 8 and the 20. All right. Look, I say it all the time. You can see it really easy because I do remember this on eBet. Bad things happen under the 8 and the 20. Under these two lines is not where you want your hard-earned money. All right. It's a hard thing to get over the 8. If you do, you get close to the 20, but man, that 20 is a hard thing to get over. All right. And what I see here is a good attempt at the 50. Definitely was a very bad fake out, and now we're just like, we were kind of gonna maybe oscillate around that 20. Sometimes I see like an up and down like that, but all I'm really seeing is us now right here, well under the 8 and the 20. And like, yeah, I don't see much of a reason to not put like a 4. See, I wish I had more decimals, right? But yeah, a very low 4. Like this to me more wants to keep going down into all-time lows than it does want to go up. I'll be real honest, you know what I mean? And it all goes to the 8 and the 20. Bad things happen under the 8 and the 20, and man, these are hard lines to break when they're your friends, or when they're not your friends. Excuse me, sorry about that, right? Like there's man, I'm gonna put that right there because that's obviously what I was going for, right? But there's more reason to believe we're gonna come down here than we're gonna come up to 8. If I had to like, I don't want to say guess, right? But I don't like the volume here. It's been really bad. It actually looks like the RSI is about to slip down. I see some green below it. Obviously the numbers are the same, right? But like I see a smidge of green down there, and yeah, I don't see I don't see it. I think if it can get, what are you at? 5? What are you at? You're like 6 cents is the money line. I don't think I would touch this under 6. I would set a 6, and I am going to set a 6 alert because, hey, I would like to go from 6 all the way up to here to 8. That's actually a really, really good, that's 33%. 222, add another 2, give it to me, baby, right? Like that's what we're here for. That said, I actually would very, very much stay away from it as long as it's under the 8 and the 20, all right? Because what does the stock know how to do? I can keep zooming out. I can keep zooming out. Since November 2001, all it really knows how to do is stay under the 8 and the 20, right? Like that, like just look, I'm not making these lines up, right? Like that's all it knows how to do is stay under it. And until the stock gives me a reason to believe otherwise, why should I believe otherwise? All right. So where are we on the weekly again? It's an even better visual of it. All we know how to do is stay under the 8. Okay, the one thing it knows how to do, and again, this is on a weekly chart, so it takes a little more time, but it goes under, then comes back, goes under, then comes back, goes under, then comes back. We're under. Maybe we can come back to 6. Maybe. All right. Excuse me. I don't know if we're going to go much much higher than that, right? And again, I'm hoping for a quick little wick up to 8 more than I actually believe it would close there, right? So I would have a plan and attack and a quick in and out. But EBET seems a lot shadier than it actually does seem, optimistic, I guess is the best way to say it. Again, make the stock give you a reason to believe it's going to, this is not roulette, right? Like the stock remembers, I promise you it does. And I think that's a perfect transition for this last one, all right? Verb. Look, easy to see this and say, oh my goodness, all right? Like, let's just first off zoom out and look at this thing, all right? I see it. Okay, cool. We've had a moment here. Okay, we'll talk about that one for sure, but all right, I've got a good little idea of the stock. So, a couple things I'm going to start with, and generally whenever we talk, I start up here. However, I have to start down here, all right? So on Friday, the volume was 13,000 shares. You see that volume, 13K. On Thursday, it was 52. This is under 100,000 shares regularly. Today, we go up to 100 million, all right? Today was a volume anomaly. All right, I'm going to zoom out. Today was by far the biggest volume day ever. And I mean by far, right? You can see the last one was down here. That one was probably the last big one. Maybe this one was a little bit higher than that 6 million day. Where was it? I can't even find it. Damn. One more. I'm normally better at that. I'm sorry. But nonetheless, it's all the way up here, right? So that wild volume anomaly is kind of interesting. And I'll be honest, I didn't see any headline. I didn't really look at this one very much. If you could let me know what happened, I think I'd actually really appreciate that, right? But right now, to me, this smells like a pump and dump. All right, it really does. I'm curious, and I actually don't know. What are you doing after hours? You're actually holding. No shit. That's not bad. Again, it obviously went down a little bit, right? But in my head, it didn't go down super drastic. So to me, that's holding, all right? The few immediate things that come to mind were obviously, look, this is not going to be an easy break, all right? This being the 200 moving average, this thing is sitting at 380, okay? Even as I was zooming out, that was kind of the main thing I was looking at, right? I can see it was basically since here, it's never gotten over the 200, right? Since, when was this? 2001, okay? There was some sort of something right here. As I look at it, it wasn't a beautiful candle and it didn't even actually get over it, right? The wick doesn't count in my book, right? So this 200 line is no joke, all right? I'm seeing a decent horizontal there. And I mean, that's still a decent move. Okay. From there, there's not a lot of lines. Maybe this one, right? So I can see 230 as a low number. All right. I think the easier number would be this, either 150. I'll draw this line too. Do I give it to you or you? I'll give it to you. I'll do that. I'll take that. I think this is a decent 1-2 for tomorrow on the low side. I can see this coming down to 230 actually relatively easily, all right? I think 172 is a pretty realistic low ball target. 151. If this slips below 151 it's gonna be a really fast drop to basically 110. All right. This blue line, as I'm looking at it, right? This blue line, as I'm looking at it, we've had a little bit of like motion here. All right. I'm not going to zoom in really hard, but we've obviously gotten over it. We've obviously like battled with it, right? We obviously got over it. You know, we wanted to, but obviously couldn't even get over the 50 right there. Like this hundreds had a little more of an interaction. I don't know why, but I think this wild volume anomaly is making me believe that this 100 is going to hold. I don't think that this is going to break the 200 and keep flying tomorrow. I don't. Maybe if this thing comes down enough to one of these two and then the volume picks up, it keeps ripping. Hey, that's a maybe. But I don't think this even touches 151. I don't know why, and I think it's just because that volume number. I don't know what made that volume go up, but yeah, it's a hardcore biggest volume day for sure, right? So I'm clicking here just to show it again, but that 100 average 151. I think that is too low ball, but yeah, I see it more coming down than up still overall. Like I said, I think that's the thought. The weekly, I don't think this weekly is going to give me much more. Hey, look at that. That 172 actually lines up pretty well right there. I like it. What are you at? Just to see 140. Yeah, 140 won't hit. No way. That'd be crazy if it does, actually. I might take a peek at that at 140. I'm not gonna lie. I'll say that. But yeah, look again. I think this is an easy way to see it, right? Like the last time that this had the biggest day ever was only 14. Like this was 8x that at least, not quite 10x, right, but like I mean whatever that number, this is a real big volume anomaly. If I'm not mistaken, Verb had some sort of Microsoft connections back in the day. The last time I remembered this, I didn't make much money on this. I think I do remember this right here. I thought that that's what this thing was, but either way, whatever, right? They're just 4 letters that just come and go. But hey, I'll put a link to the Discord group. Let me know your thoughts and opinions. Yeah, otherwise, thank you.